Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a very special League of Legends video. Today we're finally going to be talking about the 4 new YASUO build paths. 2 of them being for mid lane YASUO, 2 of them being for top lane YASUO. I know this is a video a lot of you have been waiting for, so if you end up enjoying it, let me know by hitting the like button. But to make this video even better, I brought in a special guest, someone who plays YASUO solely in Master and Challenger Elo. A player that is respected by all YASUO players and YASUO mains. I'd like to welcome ArKaDaTa.
Hey guys, I'm a Elo player with 1 million mastery points on YASUO, playing on the EU West. I'm mostly known for my montages on YouTube and for my streaming channel on Twitch, so if you'd like to see more of my content, feel free to check the links down below. Today, I'm joining with Mercy to plan the build for the patch 6.11. We have been working on this together for a week, trying to optimize the build path and adding as much in-depth information as we could. So I hope you like this video and the work we have put into it, and of course, naturally enjoy using the builds. Thanks.
Alright guys, so I'll start things off first in this video by talking about the 2 different YASUO builds you can do for the mid lane. First, I'll give you guys the basic rundown of the build to know what to expect from a simplistic viewpoint, followed by a little bit of a more in-depth analysis. So the first build we'll be talking about is one that utilizes the new Triforce in the mid lane, or Triforce mid as we're gonna call it in this video. So the core items will be as follows: your boots of choice, usually Merc boots, followed by the Static Shiv, Trinity Force, and then the Infinity Edge. A lifesteal item usually being Bloodthirster, and then your item of choice usually being something like a Sterak's Gauge. Now the order is as follows: Static Shiv into either the full Trinity Force into Infinity Edge, or you can go Static Shiv into the Phage, then Infinity Edge, and then finish the Trinity Force, or you can go Static Shiv into the Cloak of Agility for the 100% crit chance, into the Trinity Force, and then finish off the Infinity Edge. Now this build, even though it's quite good, is very situational that you usually only want to do when you're facing an enemy team with either a lot of squishy champions or a lot of champions with skill shot abilities. Because the idea behind this build is to have a lot of burst with the sheen effect from Triforce, while also having a lot of mobility thanks to the Phage aspect of Triforce, helping you dodge a lot more skill shots while also giving you the CDR, which will in turn also give you more wind walls to block those skill shots. Now if you want, you can definitely switch out the Static Shiv for a Phantom Dancer. And here's a quick reason as to which one you want to have and when. Now for this Triforce mid build, you want to have Static Shiv when you're versing a mid laner that has a lot of issues CSing under tower, so you push in the wave as often as possible, which in turn will also help you roam. But if you feel like you'll be playing this game a lot more like a split pusher trying to get towers and duel people 1v1, then the Phantom Dancer is a lot better, also because you will not kill the minions whenever the Static Shiv procs, so you're able to abuse your E ability more often. All in all, this Triforce mid lane build is somewhat expensive, but it does have a lot of burst damage, great synergy between the Infinity Edge and the extra damage coming out from Static Shiv's lightning, on top of also being able to stack the Static Shiv more often thanks to the move speed offered by Trinity Force. The last item in this build is the optional one, where you can choose between something like a Sterak's Gauge, which synergizes with the sheen component of your Triforce, Guardian's Angel, Spirit Visage, which is a good one if you have Warlord's Bloodlust and especially Bloodthirster to get more lifesteal, or something like a Randuin's. It all comes down to what you're facing. Are you fed and you want to get a little bit tankiness while still not sacrificing a lot of damage? Sterak's is fantastic. Do they have a lot of mixed damage? Guardian's Angel. Do they have a lot of magic damage? Spirit Visage. Do they have a lot of physical damage? Randuin's. There are also going to be 2 rune pages and 2 mastery pages depending on what kind of playstyle you prefer. If you're someone that likes to play very aggressive and you feel very skilled on YASUO and that you can outplay and destroy your opponent in the laning phase, then you want to get the Fervor of Battle from your masteries. Your runes with Fervor of Battle and Trinity Force mid should be as follows. For your reds, you want 3 flat ADs and 6 attack speeds, while also having 1 attack speed quint and 2 lifesteal quints. And the reason is simple: you don't have Warlord, so you don't have the lifesteal from that, and you don't get Bloodthirster until very late into the build, so the lifesteal quints will help you quite a bit. However, if you want to play somewhat of a more passive laning phase and go for more of the late game playstyle, then you want to go for the Warlord's Bloodlust with a rune page as follows: flat AD reds, armor or HP per level yellows, flat MR or MR per level blues, and then you want to go for the attack speed quints. And in terms of summoners, I usually recommend going for exhaust, but if you feel like you can destroy your mid lane and cheese your opponents, ignite can work. But all in all guys, that is the first build, being the Triforce mid lane. Next we'll talk about build number 2, that is called the standard mid. This is the build you want to do when a Triforce mid just simply does not work for the enemy team composition. Or in other words, against a tanky team or a team that doesn't have a lot of skill shots or things like that. This one for the most part is just a safer build path because it will work in almost any scenario. So if you're just not sure what build path to do, this is probably the one you want to do. It's pretty straightforward. You have your Boots of Choice, your Phantom Dancer, your Infinity Edge, and your Bloodthirster. Those are the core items, followed by 2 situational items, which can be either Maw of Malmortius, Guardian's Angel, Mercurial Scimitar, Randuin's, or Spirit Visage. Again, just depends on what you're facing and what you need. The runes and masteries also depend on your playstyle. Are you going Fervor of Battle? Then you want to run 29% attack speed from your Reds and your Quints. The reason is to have the extra attack speed to quickly proc your Fervor of Battle on hit effect as often as possible. And since Phantom Dancer is your only attack speed item, you need this extra attack speed from your runes to cap your Q sooner. But if you decide to play the safer approach and go for more of the late game while having a more passive laning phase, then Warlord's Bloodlust plus the rune page we talked about earlier is the one to go. The page with flat AD Reds and attack speed Quints. And the summoners are the same thing as the Triforce one. Do you want to cheese your opponent? Go for the Ignite. If you want to have a useful summoner throughout the whole game and be more safe, go for the Exhaust. But all in all, the flat AD you get from your runes whenever you go the Warlord's Bloodlust helps you actually utilize the Warlord's Bloodlust a bit more effectively in the laning phase. But now that we got the 2 mid lane build paths for YASUO out of the way, I'm gonna pass it off to ArKaDaTa to go over the 2 top lane builds as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna put on 2 builds for top lane with 2 different playstyles. I'll start with the Frozen Force, being my signature build, then we'll talk about the Split Push Duelist build, which is much more damage oriented. So let's get started. Frozen Force is a bruiser YASUO build which uses Trinity Force and Frozen Mallet as its core items. It provides a decent amount of tankiness, but what's really interesting is the synergy between the flash from Triforce and the slow from Frozen Mallet. It allows YASUO, an already hypermobile champion, to move even faster and to have a lot of stickiness. The next item you are gonna get are mostly situational, but I'd recommend using those in most scenarios. First, a Guardian Angel, because we need some resistance after getting 800 HP. Then, Sunfire and Serra Gauge to increase both the tankiness and the damage output of the build. There are some variations you can do depending on the enemy team composition, like getting Guardian Angel, Spirit Visage and Warmog against a team with a lot of AP poke, or getting Sunfire, Randuin and Thornmail if you are against a full AD team. Keep in mind that you can adjust the situational items the way you want as long as you mostly build tanky. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna be skeptical when looking at this build, and I totally understand why. The main reason being that we have 0% crit chance. But, while it might look really bad for YASUO, it's not impacting him that much on a tanky build, simply because anyway you don't have a lot of AD to multiply. In fact, most of your damage comes from Fervor, Shin, Sunfire or even YASUO's base damage. Now, why so tanky? Because it's what the current meta is all about. Have you seen Bruiser Fist top lane? Or the full tank echo jumping on your ADC, destroying him in a matter of seconds with nothing you can do to save him because he has too much tankiness and mobility? This is what we are gonna turn YASUO into. An obnoxious diver, almost unkillable, knocking and slowing everyone while still unleashing a decent amount of damage. Though, I wouldn't recommend using this build in every single game. It's optimal when you don't have a tank already on your team, or if you are against an hard matchup like Irelia and want to use a safer build path. But in other scenarios, you might want to use the Split Push Duelist build I'll present in a minute. But first, let's see the rune and mastery setup we are going to use on this Frozen Force build. First of all, for the Frozen Force setup, I'd recommend using a flat attack speed rune page. This will allow us to cap YASUO's Q spell by level 14 with the attack speed from Triforce. So that's 3 attack speed Queens and 9 attack speed marks. For defensive runes, I personally use Flat Armor and Scaling Magic Resist, but feel free to adapt. For the mastery pages, we have 2 options. The most common one being Fervor of Battle, mostly because it provides a lot of damage to complement this build's tankiness and scale well from early to late game. Further, it synergizes really well with YASUO's kit and the amount of attack speed we are getting. Now, if you want a safer mastery page, Grasp of the Undying is the way to go. It's really powerful when you are against an hard matchup and you need the extra sustain, tenacity and tankiness to survive. But while it provides a much safer early game, it doesn't scale as well as the Fervor Battle page. And that's all I had to say for this build that I really recommend people to try out. Because in my opinion, it's a really strong build if you wanna act as a frontline for your team. And it only suffers from a few weaknesses like being weak against percent HP damage or having to rely on your teammates. Now if you tried this build already and didn't like it, you might want to use a more offensive approach, the Split Push Duelist build. So let's switch to this one. The The core items of the split push builds are gonna be as follow. Phantom Dancer into Blade of the Rune King into Infinity Edge. You can swap Blade of the Rune King and Infinity Edge according to your preference, but getting Blade of the Rune King first is much safer. The next items we want to get are Deadman's Plate and Banshee Veils. The goal here is to get as much roaming and dueling items as possible. In fact, Phantom Dancer will provide you the strong 1v1 damage reduction, Blade of the Rune King is really good in duel, especially against tanky champions, Infinity Edge because you want to get the insane damage increase and the 100% crit chance, Banshee because it's really cheap and strong for speed pushing, it can actually save you from getting off or taking an important spell from your opponent, and finally Deadman's Plate to improve that speed pushing and roaming aspect thanks to the move speed it gives. Overall, it's a really well-rounded build with some sustain, hybrid resistance, lot of damage against squishies and tanks, and of course a lot of dueling and roaming potential thanks to all the items passive. For this build, keep in mind that we are putting the emphasis on the speed pushing aspect, but you can still play it more as a team fighting build by changing the defensive items a bit, like getting around Ruin and Split Visage instead of Deadman's Plate and Banshee, since the first two are gonna be more powerful in team fights. Now let's see the rune and masteries for this build. We are gonna use 29% attack speed, since it's really strong for long trades, and it synergizes really well with the keystone we are gonna get most of the time, Fervor of Battle. This mastery page provides a lot of damage in a 1v1 scenario, and Fervor is extremely powerful on YASUO top, so this is a setup you want to get when you are confident. If you are not, you can get this mastery page with Warlord Bloodlust, it will allow you to safely scale, and your late game lifesteal is gonna be really helpful for dueling people. This is the kind of build you want to get when you already have a frontline and your matchup does not require you to build tankiness in order to survive. This can be even more optimal if no one can duel you in the game, which will mean you will be able to split push freely.
And that is about it for this video, guys. I mean, there you have it, the current 4 best YASUO build paths ever since the change in Trinity Force, 2 for mid lane, 2 for top lane. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video with this in-depth information, giving you everything you need to know to play YASUO successfully in this current patch. I also want to give big shoutouts to ArKaDaTa for joining us in this video, giving his professional insight on a champion he's exceptionally skilled at. So if you maybe do not trust my opinion for whatever reason, then you can 100% trust his. And here's ArKaDaTa one more time with his closing thoughts.
Hey, I just want to remind you that you shouldn't play this build without looking at your team comp. I'm especially looking at the Triforce mid build, since even if it's a really enjoyable build that allows us to still get Triforce on the mid lane, it's mostly effective against skill shots and squishies. Then again, Frozen Force is only really powerful when you want to act as a frontline for a team that will be able to back you up, and while the vintage builds are not really situational, they don't bring as much utility as the Triforce builds. So choose wisely and have fun on the Rift. See ya, guys.
But we both thank each and every one of you for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. Check out ArKaDaTa's YouTube channel and Twitch stream as well, links down below, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.